Hey guys, hope you're doing fine. My name is Nishant and we are at day 4th of July LeetCoding challenge. Let's look at our question. Ugly number 2. Write a program to find nth ugly number. Okay, so what an ugly number is? Ugly numbers are positive numbers whose prime factors only include 2, 3 and 5. Okay, so an ugly number can only have a prime factor of 2, 3 or 5. So now as per the example we have to find the 10th ugly number. So the sequence of first 10 ugly numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 and 12. Okay, so the 12 is the 10th ugly number. See, you can see that 7 is not an ugly number since 7 does not have a prime factor of 2, 3 and 5. Same goes with 11. Okay, so let's look how we do this. So now we have to find the 10th ugly number. So we will create a array of size 10 and we will have 3 pointers p2, p3 and p5 that are initially set to 0. Okay, so uh, at the first ugly number will always be 1. Okay, so as per the question we can see that 1 is typically treated as an ugly number. Okay, so 1 will be the first ugly number. So how do we calculate the next ugly number is using this formula. We will just do, let's name this array dp. So dp of I, that is this, should be minimum of dp of whatever the p2 is pointing to multiplied by 2, that is dp p2 is the previous ugly number. Okay, similarly that goes for dp of p3 multiply by 2. Oh, sorry, since the next factor is 3, so we multiply it by 3, and dp of p5 and just multiply it by 5. Okay, so this is the formula. So for our, now we will start iterating from index 1. So dp of 1 will be minimum of whatever p2 is pointing at, p3 or p5 is pointing at, multiplied by the factors 2, 3 and 5 respectively. Okay, so p2 is pointing at 0, so 0, whatever is the ugly number at 0 is 1, so 1 multiplied by 2, similarly 1 multiplied by 3 and 1 multiplied by 5. So the minimum of 2, 3 and 5 is 2, so we get our next ugly number as 2. Now since 2 we are getting 2 by multiplying the previous ugly number by factor 2, so we need to increase the pointer p2, okay, by 1. So we go here and we increase it by 1. So for the factor p2, now the last ugly number is 2, not 1, and for the p3 and p5 the last ugly numbers are still 1. Okay, so now for index 2 we go again, we multiply whatever p2 is pointing at, that is 2 multiplied by 2, so that will be 4, and for p3 and p5 it's still 1, so that is 3 and 5. So the minimum is 3, so the next ugly number will be 3, and since the p3 the factor is 3, which resulted in next ugly number 3 is 3, so we increase the pointer p3 by 1. Okay, so for the next number, since p2 is still at 1, so that will be 4. Now p3 is at 1, that will be 6, and p5 is still at 0, so that will be 5. Okay, so the minimum is 4, so next number we got is 4, and also we need to increase p2 by 1, so p2 is 2 now. Okay, so that is good. So again we multiply p2 uh, by 2, so that is 6, and dp p3 is pointing to 2 and multiplied by that is 6, and p5 is still pointing at 1, so this will be 5. So the minimum is 5, so next number is 5, and we are getting this 5 from p5, so we increase it by 1, so that is p5 now have value 1. Okay, now for the next iteration or the next index, that is 5, let's calculate these three values. So p2 is pointing at 2, so this value will be 6. p3 is pointing at 1, so this value will be 6, and p5 is pointing at 1, so this value will be 10. So the minimum is 6. Okay, so there are two 6's, and we need to just increase both the values. Okay, so p2 will also be increased and p3 will also be increased by 1, so the values will now be 3 and 2. Okay, let's calculate next number. So for dp is now 3, so this value will be 8, and p3 is pointing to 2, so this value will be 9, and p5 is pointing at 1, so this value will be 10. So the next number will be 8, that is the minimum number, and also we need to increase p2 by 1, so this will become 4. And for the next number, let's calculate. So this will be 10, and this will be 9, and for this it's still 10, so the minimum is 9, so the next ugly number will be 9. Okay, since this we are getting from p3, we need to update it by 1, so this value is now 3. Okay, for the next number, let's calculate these three values. p2 is at 4, so the value is 10. p3 is now pointing to third index, so this value will be 12 here, and p5 is still pointing to 1, so this value will be 10. So the next ugly number is 10. Okay, so since we are getting 10 from two places, p2 and p5, we need to increase both of them, so p2 and p5, so this will be 5 now, and this will be 2. Okay, let's know this and calculate the next values. So p2 is pointing to 5, so the value at 5 is 6, so this will be 12, and p3 is pointing to now 3, so 3 is 4, and this is 12, and dp of 5 is pointing to 2, so 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. Okay, so the minimum is 12, so the next ugly number will be 12, and also we need to increase p2 and p3 by 1, so this will be 6, and this will be 4. Okay, so since we filled the whole array, and the last index will give us the nth ugly number. Okay, let's code this. So what we do is we just create an array of size n, and also we need to have 3 pointers, that is P2, P3 and P5 all initialized to 0. Okay, and we need to set our first ugly number as 1. Now we will go in the loop from 1 to and we update our values. Minimum of dp of p2 multiplied by 2 or dp of p3 multiplied by 3, dp of p5 multiplied by 5. Also we need to update our pointers, so we just check where we are getting this current value. If it is this, we update p2, and if this value is coming from p3, then we update p3, and also we check for p5. So it is this, we update p5. Okay, and in the end we just return dp of n minus 1, and for the base case, if n equals 1, simply return 1. Let's run this code. Okay, so 12 12, let's just submit this. Okay guys, it is accepted. The link for the code is in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.